was coming round.
I'm afraid the Prime Minister's going out. He won't have time to see you.
Charlie. Come in, dear boy. I've got to go to a banquet, but they're unlikely to begin without me.
We've picked them up, sir.
Fleming? Charlie, where's my cigar case?
And the young woman at the Croft. We're bringing them to London.
Good. Thank you, Charlie. And what you propose to do about them?
Well, get to the bottom of it, sir.
After the horse is gone. A bit late, isn't it? Do you imagine they'll be able to rebuild the computer?
Well, I don't know, sir. Hardly without the code.
No, thank you, Charlie. My speech. Too long. Well, mind you don't lose them again, Burdett, that's all.
Yeah. No, they had already gone. I cannot help it. The soldiers had been there first. Well, naturally, of course, I followed them. No. But that is something else. All right. Yeah, all right, I do that first. Naturally, of course, I'll take another flight.
British European Airways announced the departure of their flight 410 to Geneva and Rome. Will all passengers please proceed to Gate 5 for customs control?
Osborne.
Parkinson, what are you doing here?
Well,
Give me a hand.
Yes, William, I say that's awkward, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Could you hold that?
Yeah.
Look, you ease the zipper and I'll hold the tie. Careful.
Terry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Ah, it's better, thank you.
While you're here...
What?
A word in your ear.
What is it?
They've got Fleming and the girl.
Who has?
The security people. There's going to be a board of inquiry.
Well,
what do you want me to say?
what I told you to say, of course, that you went up there with me and all the rest of it.
Yes, but if they put me on oath?
Look, you've said it once. You're not going to back down now, are you?
Well, it's not a very nice position to be in. I mean, if only you were going to be there.
Well, I shan't. I've got a plane to catch. Don't worry, we're not the important ones.
What's it? My umbrella. Osborne, there's my umbrella.
Will all passengers please proceed to Gate 5 for customs control?
Have a good trip.
Do you know anything about DNA? The synthesis of living tissue.
Do you really not know that one of the formulae obtained from the computer enabled Professor Dornay to construct living matter in the laboratory?
And that the outcome of that was yourself?
Do you remember working with the computer?
I think that's enough. You needn't answer any more questions for the moment. Do you think, Minister, you could arrange to have her history properly explained to her?
That's the last thing.
Dr. Fleming!
This isn't the place. I think, Minister, the legal department's advice would be that she should testify once she's been properly informed about the past, and that we should have a full board of inquiry as soon as possible.
And telling her?
Oh, I could do that.
Or Osborne?
You won't get Osborne.
Why not?
He's in Geneva.
He ought to be here.
He's representing the Ministry of Science at an international conference on the weather.
The weather? All right, you can stand down.
Dr. Fleming? Why did you abduct this woman?
Isn't that rather beside the point?
What was your point, Dr. Fleming?
That the message and all that derived from it was evil.
Evil?
For us, yes. It was sent by a superior intelligence which would subjugate us. It would, if necessary, have destroyed us.
And because you thought that, you destroyed the computer.
And the girl?
The girl's nothing without the machine. The will, the knowledge, the memory are all in the machine. You can see there's something wrong with her.
Yes, let's just stick to the point, Dr. Fleming. Why did you abduct her?
Come in.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. I think this may be urgent.
Oh, thank you. That's all right, thank you. Dr. Fleming, I put it to you that you destroyed the computer and abducted this girl in case she told us what had happened.
I took her away because she needed protection.
Osborne's assistant has admitted that he did not go to Thorness the night the computer was destroyed.
Well, Dr. Fleming?
You'd have to ask Osborne who he took, won't you?
Indeed we will. But now, I'm asking you.
Mr. Osborne,
Yes?
I'm Professor Nielsen's wife.
Oh. How do you do?
Glad to meet you.
Missed your husband's paper. He's just finished reading it.
Yes,
They won't be long now.
I think my husband
Yes?
wants to talk to you.
Oh, that's what I'm here for.
I don't mean about the conference.
Oh?
If you have time, if you could wait.
What's it about?
Well, if you don't mind, I'd rather...
Well, shall we sit down?
How's it going?
Oh, he gave a very good paper indeed. You've read it?
No, thank you.
I suppose you have bigger storms on the other side of the Atlantic than we do here. Or rather used to. We've not been doing too badly ourselves just lately.
So I gather.
We used to have our weather sent to us from the other side of the Atlantic, but these past few months we seem to have been generating our own, and pretty rough old stuff it's been.
And you think you'll find out why?
Oh, we shall do our best. Ah, that sounds like the wind-up.
Monsieur Osborne,
Yes?
there is a telegram for you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I think maybe that went all right.
Good.
There suddenly is a new pattern. Hello, dear. We shall have to do some more studies on these thermal currents.
Yes. Yes, it's all very curious, isn't it?
It is.
Gunnar, dear, Mr. Osborne, you know...
Yes, of course, dear, of course. My wife has told you.
Not what it's about.
Do you know anything about an outfit called Intel?
Intel?
Yeah.
Well, big international trading consortium.
Are they reputable?
A very large concern.
Well, my husband was wondering, are they scrupulous?
Well, I don't know very much about them. Why?
Well, this morning we received a cable from our son.
It says we'll meet you one evening this week. Intel, permitting Jan.
You see, we haven't seen him for nearly 2 years.
Oh, then you'll be very glad, won't
I
you?
don't think you've quite got it. We haven't heard from him for 2 years.
No, not until 2 weeks ago when we got the first telegram saying he would meet us.
And that's why I brought my wife over here
And
with me.
then later another one telling us where.
And this one saying when, at least more or less when.
But you know where he's been.
He went off after a job in Vienna nearly 2 years back.
Oh, we got a card.
Yes, we got a postcard saying he was all right and not to worry.
But you've heard nothing since.
Oh.
He's a scientist, like his father.
He's a physicist, electronics. That was the last we heard of him.
Did he say the job was with Intel?
No.
Have you asked at that office here?
I said not. No one. No one will admit to knowing anything about him.
That's why we thought we'd ask you.
But why me?
Because you're a friend of his.
Dr. Fleming.
John Fleming and he were at university together.
Fleming? I don't... Oh, yes, I do remember. I didn't connect you. Yes, Fleming is to talk about him.
I was when it wasn't too easy to worry you about this.
I don't think there's very much I can do. I'm being recalled to London.
Oh.
Well, I I don't have to go till tomorrow. Where do you meet him?
In a cafe. Here. In the town.
This is quite a pretty view of the lake, don't you think? Ich nehme diese.
I found the place.
Good. This is for my father. Stays always in Dusseldorf. Was wounded in the war a little and he likes to have a card where I've been.
Yes, very touching. I'll just wait, I suppose.
He's what they call here petit bourgeois. He thinks I am in honest trade. You have simply to wait.
Your father will be here any minute now. At least you're here.
Don't make us conspicuous.
Professeur Nielsen, un moment s'il vous plaît. Vous permettez, professeur? Professeur Nielsen, j'aimerais prendre votre photo s'il vous plaît. Regardez par là, s'il vous plaît. Oui, c'est ça. Ça y est, ne bougez pas. Ah!
Jan! Jan, what is it? Jan! Why did he think like that? Oh, somebody get a doctor! Get a doctor quickly! What is it? A doctor, somebody! Jan, speak to us! What is it? He was all right, wasn't he? Why did he suddenly think like that?
No good, I lost him. Is he badly hurt?
I don't know.
Sick?
Oh, no. He can't be dead. Oh, no, Father.
Afraid so.
Only a moment ago.
They've been hunting him. They kept him prisoner, and he escaped. They kept him working in Azaran.
Azaran?
Oh, Jean!
Why should they?
Jean!
Azaran.
Jean, my boy, my little boy. Jean!
Oh, come on, open up.
It's done. Picture man gave you the plate. Good. It's all right.
No trouble. Only the protocol was late and he talked a lot.
To whom did he talk?
His mom. And she talked to Dad, another fellow, Englishman, called Osborne.
Osborne. Would have to be.
I tailed him for a bit.
You know where he stays?
I don't think he does stay. I'd say he's taking off.
A gunman's work is never done. It's not even what we're supposed to be doing.
European Airways announced the arrival of their flight 515. This flight.
Osborne!
Please report to the information desk.
Yes, how very kind of you. How did you know I was on this flight?
We knew.
Look, I've run into something big.
Yes, I'm afraid you have.
Look, what's all this about? What?
The man you said you'd taken to Tornes.
Yes, my assistant. What about him?
He told the Board of Inquiry that you didn't.
So what? That's all past history now. Look, I've run into something important in Geneva.
I'm afraid the weather will have to wait.
It isn't the damned weather.
I'm sorry, Osborne. I came out of friendship to warn you.
Well, I'm deeply grateful. Now, will you...
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Nothing is ever simple.
What is this place?
Some old army headquarters. Requisition from the 10th Earl of Muckshire. In our finest hour. Generally mucked up and used for the housing of odds and sundries like us. Have a cup of char?
Is what Dr. Gears told me true?
Expect so.
What will they do?
I don't know. The old team's pretty well broken up or in chains. I shall probably be taken to the tower and beheaded. So will Osborne. But he'll go to the block, wearing lace at the throat and the disdainful smile of an English gentleman.
And Bree?
Broken ribs and a broken heart between the sheets of some northern hospital.
Where do I belong?
Here.
But before I forgot.
Here. Peppermint. You helped me with full knowledge of the facts and of your own accord. You had a choice then of whose side you were on, and you took it.
Who is that?
Osborne, I expect. I gather he's coming here. Is anyone there? Said the traveller, knocking on the moonlit door. They heard his foot upon the stirrup, and the sound of iron on stone, and how the silence surged softly backward when the plunging hoofs were gone.
Oh, excuse me, please. I had expected to meet Mr. Osborne.
I'm afraid Mr. Osborne hasn't arrived yet.
Dr. Fleming.
Mine old friend Kaufman. Well, how did you flannel your little way in?
I am representing Mr. Osborne's lawyer. They make it very difficult.
How did you know we were here?
My dear doctor, I didn't know. I was temporarily concerned with another matter. But it's my lucky day. This is the young lady.
You see, charming, these Viennese.
Oh, I do not come from Vienna. I'm from Dusseldorf.
My mistake. I'm so sorry.
Oh, my lieber doctor.
Here we go. Why did you try to shoot us last week?
Oh, not me.
No, you get somebody else to do it for you, don't you?
I am not a free agent.
No, you're on the payroll of the Flowers by Wire service.
What?
Intel.
I do not act as I would wish.
Well, you could always get out then, couldn't you?
Unfortunately, when I was younger, I wanted to get on. I have struggled to live, but I am honorable. Then one day they come with a little thing, something not too bad. They always do this.
And you're glad to accept their money.
Yes, and after that it is something a little more shady, and you think perhaps you say no, but you cannot.
They've got you.
By the long hair.
And so you do it.
And after that you do it more, and sometimes it's something very bad.
Why did you follow us here?
You have something they want, huh? I do as I'm told. Now, who is that?
Your client, perhaps.
Oh, it was a van. It's gone round the back. Now, please, you will come with me, both.
Take no notice.
Please. Last night I had a young man shot dead. A nice, bright young man. I didn't even know him. I do not like these things.
Come on. Damn cold out there.
We wish to have you alive, Herr Doctor. But we would be prepared to stretch a point with the young lady. So ist gut.
We'll see, shall we?
And keep it quiet. What the dickens? Fleming, what the devil are you doing? What a damn ridiculous thing to happen.
VPX 52 to Azaman Control.
برج المراقبة في
أزران هل تسمعني؟ VPX 52 هل تسمعني؟ إلى أزران.
VPX 52 to Azarman.
Wait here. It is the anniversary of their independence. They are very excited this year because they have broken their oil agreements. Now they depend entirely upon us. Colonel Salim will see them.
Jawohl, Fräulein.
They are enjoying themselves. It's hot.
It gets hotter. They have something to be pleased about. I usually go north in the summer.
We'll stay here this year.
Yes. There is a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. We have closed the frontiers.
You have done what?
Shut out the foreigners, except for you. We are strong enough to go our own way now.
You expect miracles?
Only little miracles.
In here.
What is this place?
Some pasha's desirable residence. Nobody tells us anything, least of all Kaufman.
He's not a bad man.
The Kaufman? He's a very funny fella. He buys picture postcards as soon as we land. Checking up on his navigation, I suppose. Over here. The Republic of Azaran. Thousands of square miles of howling desert and one festering lump of property development with everybody going nuts in it.
Dr. Fleming?
And who are you?
My name is Gamboul.
The lady of the house?
No, this is the home of Colonel Salim, a member of the Azaran government.
Oh, he had us brought in.
We had you brought.
So, your flowers by wire.
Pardon, I represent Intel. And you are?
A colleague.
Are you?
We are what is popularly known as just friends. Her name is Andre.
Andre?
Just Andre.
Well, please, sit down. I hope you have been well treated.
Not particularly.
I'm sorry. We brought you here because we hope we can help each other.
Whatever gave you that idea?
You are on the run from the British government. They won't find you now. This is a closed country.
Look, what's all this about?
Colonel Salim will tell you.
Dr. Fleming? Miss?
Andre.
Just?
Andre. How do you do?
Well, sit down, sit down. Did you have a comfortable journey?
They say not.
Dr. Fleming, we are a new country. That is, we're an old country, but we are newly on our own. Except for a little oil, we are what is known as underdeveloped. We were once a province of the old Persian Empire. We had our own laws and our own customs. That was 2,000 years ago. Since then, we have been the slaves of other people. Now we are free, and we have the usual problems. We need help.
You go about getting it in a funny way, don't you?
How else could we have got you?
The Intel Consortium have sunk a great deal of finance here in the form, to begin with, of industrial and research development. We are the host government, and we shall benefit. We have a great many brilliant and progressive people here, scientists.
Collected in the same way?
In different ways. Once they are here, they find the work worthwhile. We treat them well, provide them with good conditions. They don't usually wish to give it up.
They have any option?
You are a mathematician.
Yes.
And a physicist, specializing in electronics and cryogenics.
Sometimes.
We had another young physicist working here, Nielsen.
Jan Nielsen?
You knew him?
Yes, Jan, Dennis Bridger and I worked at the original Red Brick University together.
We thought a lot of him. He was very brilliant. Very.
But dead?
I didn't know he was a friend of yours. He did all the real leadership on our main research project, but unfortunately he was unable to complete it. So, even if he had carried on, I think he was in a blind alley. For some time we have been looking for a better man.
To do what?
You worked on the British computer at Thornes.
You know everything, don't you?
We have a computer.
Sort of a computer.
You ought to know, Dr. Fleming.
My God. You got the design, of course, from Dennis Bridger.
Yes.
And Jan Nielsen built it?
Yes.
Do you know what you've got hold of?
We have a fair idea.
Thought I'd finished with all that.
And we have made you a nice surprise.
Give you one piece of advice. Blow it up.
As you blew up the other,
How did you know that?
you will not have the same chance here.
How do you know?
Professor Dorney told us.
Dorney?
She's here.
She came of her own free will.
Well, you got the whole setup then, haven't you?
That's what we hoped. This computer is the basis of all the technology that Mademoiselle Gambou's organization has placed here. You'll be helping a people who are emerging from a long sleep. You're a liberal-minded man. You have sympathy, don't you, with emergent nations?
Depends what they emerge as.
That will depend partly on you.
Where is Madeline Dorney?
At the Intel Research Station, where you'll be taken, is most comfortable, up to the best oil company standards. We may be a poor country, but we're not barbarians.
And if I refuse?
You're not in a position to refuse.
Oh, yes, I am. You can lead a scientist to the water, but you can't make him get results.
It will pay you to get results. We will keep the young lady here to ensure your cooperation.
No!
All right. You keep the young lady with you.
No.
It is all arranged.
We have agreed.
We know what we want. I will take you both there. I have a car outside.
كويس العقارب تشيل الحرارة المطلوبة، الأسلاك تمام،
كل شيء ماشي كويس.
غيرت التيار لنشوف الفرق بينهم.
كده كويس. ها سعيدة يا سعد.
سعيدة، ما كانش في تقارب بين الأرقام المسجلة والأرقام دي.
في تقارب بينهم.
أيوة، الظاهر إنه المشكلة انحلت بعد ما عدت الجهاز عدة مرات، كان في التماس بالشريط. عايز تشوفها؟
مزبوط. خلي عينك عليها. Good morning.
Good morning. Abu Zeki, Dr. Fleming, and colleague.
How do you do? I've heard a great deal about you. From Dr. Nielsen.
Abu Zeki is the senior assistant. He will help you and look after the staff for you. He is also a very good physicist. He graduated at the American University at Beirut.
We are going to do great things here.
You really believe that, do you?
Oh, yes. Look what we have.
I will show them. These are all the control units. The output printer is down here. Memory storage there. Input down at that end. Cooling plant through there. That, of course, is for the supercooling for the low-temperature cells. Cryogenics, that's your field. We have ordinary air conditioning for the building.
You know your way around, don't you?
We have been working on it for a long while. The construction was finished several months ago. It was fully programmed, but nothing happened.
It's not working?
No. That's why we wanted you, Dr. Fleming. It is the same as yours.
The layout's different.
But in essence...
Came from the same message, it must be the same. You know what happened?
We are not interested in what went wrong with the other. We expect you, Dr. Fleming, to control this one. We want to build up a center of production which is free from the rest of the world, and this is what it depends on. This is our brain.
Where are the high-voltage terminals?
For what purpose?
There were 2 high-tension leads extraneous to the main control panel. Well, there should be.
Have we, Abu?
There were, yes, in the design.
And?
In here. We led them into this unit.
It's new to you?
Yes.
Dr. Nielsen considered they were for...
sensory communication?
Yes, thank you. To have direct contact into the computer system. He worked out that this should be done visually through this display.
I remember.
We first isolated it from the main current.
That was wise.
We then developed it as a sort of a cathode ray interpreter. I don't know what it can be used for, but it seemed to be called for.
Jan Nielsen certainly left a legacy, didn't he?
I'll get the wiring chart so you can see.
No, we will come.
You know what this is. It's what we're running away from.
Yes.
Keep away from it.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of me. Dr. Fleming!
Just keep away from it. Just blow it up. Now!
Or control it.
This is the photograph that was taken at the cafe. Is enough proof?
Yes.
His parents, I think, will not be taken much notice of. The other man we followed to England.
And dealt with?
Yeah.
Leaving a trail behind you?
Excuse?
You're in the habit of sending picture postcards of your itinerary to Dusseldorf?
I send them to my father.
Who is he?
He's nobody, a pensioner.
You send them from everywhere?
Yes.
Why?
It is his pleasure. I am the only one of his family.
You will not send them from here.
You take everything, don't you?
Here are some postcards of Los Angeles. I brought them when I was there. You may send him one of these from time to time. It will make him very happy. He will think you're a film star. Well, go on. Take them.
Danke.
Why don't you have a real smoke? Have a cigar. Go on. Help yourself. They're excellent.
No, thank you.
Oh, come along, mein Herr. You have earned it. Have one. Have two. Have three. Why stint yourself? We are all partners. There. Now you even look like a film star. Herr Kaufmann and I have just been enjoying a little joke together.
So I see.
No, keep it. Don't say that I take everything.
Excuse me, please.
Don't forget your correspondence, mein Herr. Good smoking. Fleming?
Dr. Fleming will not try to move.
Oh?
He is much too frightened of what he has found to dare leave it.
Abu Zeki will look after you, my dear. Show you where you live and so on.
Come.
Well, John?
I don't know how you could, Madeline. I don't know how you can work for this lot.
There's no use sticking labels on them, my dear boy. They don't apply. The whole circumstances are different. I must say, I was a little alarmed at first. I think Salem drugged me before I left London. I can't swear to it, of course, and I have no idea why.
They must have found out where I was.
No.
Well, you're the only person I told, and they came straight after me.
John, I'm sorry. I had no idea.
How did they get you?
They have a very big agricultural problem. With all this country, they still have to rely on outside sources for food, and now they don't want to anymore. They've been very sensible about it. They've tried all the conventional ways to cultivate barren land, but now they realize they need some big new conception. I hope I can find it for them.
With the help of this?
That would be useful.
Madeline, you're not going to fall for that old mistake again, are you?
What?
It was evil then, it'll be evil now, and linked with this... Look, we've got to get away from here.
And finish up like Jan Nielsen?
If there's only something I could do, if there's only somebody I could warn...
Who in the world will listen to you, John? Oh, you'll escape from here, perhaps, if you're lucky, even from the country, but they'll come after you. You'll be shot in the gutter somewhere for nothing.
So we just stay here and do their dirty work, and it's...
My work isn't dirty. They're ordinary, mortal people, and a lot of them are starving.
Salim isn't.
At least Salim's trying to do something for them.
All right. Listen. There's just one other possibility.
What?
I can get the circuits working fairly easily, then this will happen. But it'll all depend what sort of program we feed into it. If I can make it think that I'm for it, I made a mistake with the other one, and I attacked it. But if I can feed in a program to say that I'm with it, and that they're against it, then it'll react logically the way I want. It'll be our ally, our only ally. I don't know what it'll come up with, but something pretty shattering.
Like the other one did?
Yeah.
And perhaps lay waste the whole country?
Anything's better than the alternative.
I've heard you say all this before, John. You can't do it.
Madeline, it's our only chance. Otherwise it'll get the same grip here as it got at home. And who's going to stop it this time? Not Salim. In a little while it'll be laying the law down wholesale through this bunch of crooks.
And the girl?
I've stopped thinking of her as anything from outside. She's just a normal piece of human chemistry.
Ah, so you come round to that at last.
The only danger would be when this is working using her.
Which is why you want to keep her away from it.
I've grown rather fond of her.
Well, don't sound so sad about it.
Madeline. There's more to it than that. Haven't you noticed? The coordination's going. Madeline, you must have seen.
It could be nervous shock.
Well, I thought that at first, but there's something wrong with her, with the way she was made. No, it's not necessarily you. It's something wrong in the calculation, something set up wrong.
Does she know?
She doesn't even know what day it is. That's another reason I wanted her kept away from this. Madeline, it's getting worse.
Poor little devil.
That's for this swine. What the hell's that?
It's working. It's working!
What's happened?
I don't know, Dr. Fleming. She has...
She? Andre. Andromeda. Stop it. Stop it!
It speaks to me.